Hey, aloha kako. So today's Mokuna or episode is going to be about the time where this kānaka went to Kahiki, also known as Tahiti. And first of all, something interesting about this huaka'i is I think I low-key manifested it. Because it actually started back in the super early days when I was back in Kulanui. Yeah, I was sitting in Hawaiian Studies 270 or the Hawaiian Mythologies class. And for those who took that class at Kumulili Kalakam Eilihiva, there's usually a point in the semester where she starts to go over different types of heiau. And not just heiau in Hawaii, but different types of heiau across the Pacific. And one of the images that she brought up during that section of the course was a picture of Tapu Tapu Atea, which is this huge temple over in Tahiti. And I remember when the image came up, I was looking at it, and then I turned to my friends who was sitting in the same row as me, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna go there. And we kind of all just laughed it off, and we're like, yeah, maybe, and yeah, we kind of just shrugged it off. But I was kind of serious when I said it. I was like, no, for real, I'm gonna get to Tapu Tapu Atea somehow. And then boom, fast forward a couple years later, and I'm with Kumu Lilikala and a bunch of other awesome kumu from Kamakokokalani, and we're literally doing ceremony at Tapu Tapu Atea. Yeah, it was super surreal. But anyways, before we get more into that, we gotta backtrack a little bit. And sorry for the lighting change. Kanehualani is coming out in full force right now. How's it? Aloha. He must be sensing that I'm talking about Kahiki, yeah? But okay, so backtracking. So how I ended up all the way out there in Kahiki with all Kumulili Kala guys was, I think it was around my last semester in my senior year at college when I was just about to get my bachelor's in digital media and Hawaiian studies. Yeah, it was around that time that Kumulili Kala announced that she was going to take a select group of students over to Kahiki. And this was because there was going to be a summer, kind of like a study abroad, but not really, but it was a summer course, and the entire course would be dedicated to spending time over in Kahiki and learning about their heiau or their marae. But yeah, it was just to do kind of a comparison about how they use their temples over in Kahiki compared to how we use our heiau here in Hawaii. And then an extra bonus to this trip was that we would also go and visit all of the Pele places, because according to our mo'olelo, that's Pele's home, yeah, over in Kahiki. Mai Kahiki ka wahine o Pele. Yeah, so of course, once Kumulili Kala announced that, I was stoked, especially for the Pele parts, because I'm from Puna, and Pele was a very prevalent part of my upbringing. So of course I was dying to go see where she's from. So I think Kumulili Kala put an announcement out there somewhere. I don't remember if it was an email or something she talked about in class, but yeah, she basically was okay, so I'm gonna take a group of students to Tahiti over the summer, and if you're interested, let me know. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So I sent her the email, and by then she was already familiar with me. I've taken some of her classes, and she knew the kind of things I was into, which had to do with bringing Hawaii kind knowledge into the digital media realm. So that, and the fact that I was from Puna, I think played a large role into why I was selected, which I'm still super thankful to this day, because that trip was amazing. But yeah, so the day eventually came where it was time for us to leave Hawaii and go to Kahiki. I remember sitting in the airport, and I was just kind of mind blown. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go back to where Pele's from. And not only that, but this was actually the first time that I was ever gonna leave Hawaii. I'd never gone anywhere outside of Hawaii until this very trip. I'd never been over to America or the continent yet. I think by then it was just Hawaii Island and Oahu. That was the only places I traveled to, and that's it. But okay, so the overall trip was lots of work. I'm not even gonna lie, we went to 30 different temples in less than 3 weeks. And not only did we go to these temples, but we did protocol at every single one. And then we're also going around and learning the histories of each of these heiau. And I was kind of in charge of filming and documenting everything that we were doing. So it was definitely a lot of work. And as much as I want to talk about everything that we did over there, just for the sake of time, today I just want to focus on one super random fun thing that happened during this trip. I mean, there are a bunch, but you'll see why I chose this particular memory when we get to it. So anyways, after working super hard for an entire week, I remember there was one day where we had free time, and we were fortunate enough to have been invited over to this motu, or small island that was just offshore of I think it was Ra'iatea. But yeah, by that time the locals over there were very aware of what we were doing on the trip, and they were actually excited about the work that we were doing. So they invited us to just come spend time with them on this motu offshore, and they basically just wanted us to hang out with them and just like exchange stories, exchange melee, sing, dance, all that kind of stuff. And for those of you who know me or have been following this series, you know by now that I'm pretty introverted. Like, I'm not really a fan of going out and just hanging with people just for the sake of hanging with them. Yeah, unless I'm super like already peely to you, then I'm probably not ever gonna cruise with you on my free time. So yeah, I was kind of reluctant to go and cruise with all these people that I didn't really know. But I was like, hey, you're not at home, so might as well just go along with it and just have fun. And good thing I went, because it turned out to be lots of fun. Okay, so what happened was we all jumped on this tiny boat together. We sailed kind of offshore, and there was a bunch of different motu that we were passing. But eventually we ended up on one of the larger ones, and we kind of already knew that that would be the one that we go into because there was already choke people on it. I think there was like a whole summer school program going on that island. And I remember being like, so we're all just gonna be chilling here together? Okay, shoots. So we end up getting off the boat, and we're greeted by a bunch of different people over there, and they pretty much invite us all to go chill with all the makua or the adults over there. So myself and my friend Puamana, aloha Puamana. Yeah, we were kind of like the youngest ones on this trip. So as fun as it was to chill with all the all the elders, we ended up seeing like all the summer fun kids like having their own kind of like, I don't know if it was like a party or just like a little dance, but yeah. So on our end of the motu, like all the adults were just chilling, barbecuing, sitting in the water, talking story, all that kind of stuff. And then over on the side where all the Kahiki were at, there was like lots of music and dancing. So I was just fine with chilling with the adults because we were literally just doing that, chilling. But then Puamana and then our other friend Mokihana, she's like, come on, don't you guys hear the music? Don't you guys want to go over there? And I was like, I'm okay. And then eventually they're like, no, come on, no, yeah, just come with us. So I was like, okay, let's go. So we ended up asking like our kumus if we could go check out what was going on the other side of the motu, and they're like, yeah, just don't go too far, and as long as we can see you, like, it should be okay. Which it was, because again, it was a really small little motu, super small island. So the three of us, we head over to where the kids are at, and they're dancing. And again, if you've been following this series for, I don't even know what episode we're on at this point, but you should know that like this Kānaka likes to dance. So the kids are all dancing, and they're like, come hula with us. Of course, most of them only spoke French, yeah, because that was the French are the ones who colonized them. So yeah, they're just coming, gesturing to us, trying to get us to come dance with them. And like we're kind of like hila, yeah, we're like, nah, maybe no, maybe not. And then they started playing like mainstream like American hip hop and pop dance kind of music, and the kids started getting it. And I was just like, when like, okay, maybe this is something like only dancers will understand, but when like you hear the beat and like your body just starts like screaming at you to like, you better start moving. So yeah, I was trying my hardest to resist, but I was just like, okay, fine, you kids want to dance, you're gonna get a dance. So Puamana and I, we ended up going out to the middle of the dancing area, and then we just started going off. And then I remember Puamana, she was like kind of shocked, and she was like, wait, no, yeah. Like I remember she like even full on stopped dancing too. She's like, you can like dance. And I was like, yeah, and it feels good. So I was just like dancing. Then all the kids saw me like popping and locking or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, all the kids saw me dancing, and they were going off. They're like, yeah. And then they all circled around us, and we all started kind of like, it wasn't like a dance battle. It was more like everybody was just dancing. Yeah, it was a vibe, and it felt really good. And what was cool about it was like, even though none of us could like really speak the same language, when we were dancing, like that's all that mattered. So yeah, Puamana and I, we literally spent like majority of our time on that little motu dancing. and the keiki over there, they ended up like making us like, they weave us little like po'o. Like I remember one of the keiki came up to me, they're like, here's your crown, and they put it on top of us, and they're like, yeah, you guys are the kings and queens of the motu. And I told them like, and you guys are my Tahitian dance crew. And another thing that tripped me out was it wasn't just like American hip hop kind stuff that they like to dance to, but they also really like to do like I don't even know what to call it, look like ballroom dancing. Because when the slow music came on, like they literally all of their postures changed, and they got into position to do like ballroom dancing, and they were trying to teach it to me and Puamana too, and we were just like, I was struggling with that. I was like, this feels weird. Like why are we prancing around like this? But I was just going with it, and I'm pretty sure Puamana was catching on faster than I was. I think I have video footage of it too. But yeah, that was the time where I went to Kahiki and got myself a Tahitian dance crew. And I think like a couple days after that, we ended up going over to the place where Pele was born, and then we got to do hula for her over there. And yeah, there's so much more that I want to talk about regarding this trip to Kahiki, and maybe sometime in the future I'll get to those mo'olelo. But yeah, to my Tahitian dance crew, wherever you guys are, aloha nui wau ya oko. Cause yeah, that was, if not one of my favorite, it was at least top 5 of my favorite moments that I had over in Kahiki. But yeah, mahalo nui ya oko, no ko oko ho'olohe ana mai, and mahalo again to Kumu Lili Kala and all of the other epic kumus from Kamakaku who helped to arrange that entire huaka'i and made it happen. And yeah, I still trip out at the fact that I got to be a part of any of that. And I'm glad that I followed my na'au and responded to Lili Kala's announcement when she asked if there's anybody interested in going. I mean, there was like maybe 2% hesitancy on my end, because I'd never left Hawaii before. But then yeah, the fact that I had to do it Pele just kind of like trumpled any fear that I had. But yeah, that was it for today's Mokuna, and I will see you guys in the next one. Aloha.